We shall continue on in our 2024-25 season previews with the New York Rangers today. So, the Rangers were a team that was best in the league last year. They win 2 rounds, go to the conference finals, and suffer defeat to the Florida Panthers. This is not something we've seen for the first time. This has been happening at least once in the last couple of years. This team has consistently made the playoffs, and they have been up there as a consistent Stanley Cup or playoff contender, depending on how you want to view them. I know some people are different with that, but they can never seem to get over that hump. So let's start off in 21-22, where the team went 52-24-6 for 110 points. They were 7th in the NHL last year, or in that year, and they actually kind of surprised some people. They were the lower underrated team for a few of those series. They were actually incredibly underrated against the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Rangers, I think, finished above the Penguins, and there were a lot of people who were picking Pittsburgh to win that series, and they almost did. They were up 3-1, but the Rangers came back and won that. Then they played Carolina, a series where no team won on the road until Game 7. It was very competitive, but who won Game 7? The Rangers did. Then they go and play Tampa. They go up 2-0, and they just blow it completely. That was very disappointing at the time, but the Rangers fans had hope that maybe they could get back to the conference finals or maybe the Stanley Cup final. The following year, though, they got a little bit worse. Not like a ton, but they did go down a little bit in the standings. They went 47-22-13 for 107 points. They were 9th in the NHL that year. They end up losing in the first round to the New Jersey Devils. The Devils were the big story from that year. They went from a team that was horrible to a team that was really good. They go in. I don't know if they upset the Rangers because they were the higher seed than New York. I guess you could say that they did because it was like their first year in the playoffs, and the Rangers obviously made the conference finals last year, and they had Kane, they had Tarasenko. That year, I really thought the Rangers could go far. They lose that, and I was like extremely disappointed, and it kind of made me sway away from the Rangers being a cup contender. I still believe in a level they are, but it's that year was really concerning to me. But this year, they proved me wrong. They went 55-23-4 for 114 points. They were first in the NHL. They go in, sweep the Capitals. Essentially was a first-round bye. That series wasn't very close for most of it. They play Carolina. They go up 3-0. They lose a few games, but then they end up capping off the series at 6 games. Then they go play Florida. They go up 2-1, not 2-0, I believe. And then they end up blowing the series and losing in Game 6. So it's something that the Rangers, they just can't seem to get over that Eastern Conference final hump. Seems to be where they are right now. But now we're asking the question, well, can they get over that hump this year? So this offseason, they didn't do a ton. They let go of a few guys to really fix their cap situation. They brought in some guys via trade, signed a few, but really it was a very uneventful offseason. The departures, you have Barclay Goodrow, Alex Wennberg, Eric Gustafsson, Blake Wheeler, Jack Roslovic, and Nick Bonino. Wennberg, Roslovic, and Bonino were all deadline acquisitions, so essentially they aren't massive losses. Wheeler, I thought, was a solid, bottom or middle 6 forward. He actually looked good when he was in the NHL, but faced some injuries towards the end there. But still, I thought he was pretty solid. Gustafsson was a good third-pairing defender. They might miss that in terms of their depth, but I think they're fine with some of the young guys they have. And then Goodrow. Goodrow, that situation was very controversial. The fact that he didn't want to go to San Jose, they waive him, San Jose picks him up anyway. Yeah, it's a whole controversial thing. The guys they brought in Riley Smith and Sam Carrick. So no one big, I guess, besides Riley Smith. That's not a bad ad. That fits in well on their right wing side. He probably plays top 6 minutes immediately. If not, he's probably going to be down on the third line, but he could score you some points. He can get you a pretty good season out of the gate. So overall, I think that they made some solid moves. They let go of the right guys to kind of fix their cap situation. Overall, I think they did a lot of right things. Of course, there was the Trouba rumors. I'm not really going to get into that because it really doesn't matter at this point. But regardless, let's look at their projected lineups per the Hockey News. You start off with your top 6. Artemi Panarin, Mika Zibanejad, Alexi Lafreniere is your first line. And then Chris Kreider, Vincent Trocheck, and Riley Smith as your second line. That's a great top 6. I mean, I don't really need to say anything. Lafreniere took a step last year, looked great. If he could take another step or be the same, that's perfect. We know what that top 6 can do. It's great. No complaints from me whatsoever. I like almost every guy up there. Again, you can talk about how they need to really perform in the playoffs. Of course, they do. There's a few guys on that list that just seem to become ghosts in the playoffs. And I know Rangers fans are tired of hearing it, but we're going to keep bringing it up until they eventually prove us wrong. But yeah, I guess that's one thing I can really bring up. But apart from that, it's a very good top 6. Not complaining whatsoever. Your bottom 6, you have Will Cooley, Philip Hedl, and Capo Caco as your third line. Then Jimmy Vesey, Sam Carrick, and Matt Rempe as your fourth line. And then for some extra depth, you have Brennan Othmann, Johnny Brzezinski, and Adam Edstrom. So overall, that's a solid bottom 6. You have guys who can score. You have guys who can put up points. You have guys who can fight as well. I do hope that Hedl will stay healthy. This past year was a rough year for him when it came to injuries. As of right now, I do believe he is healthy. Might want to fact check me on that, but he should be slotting in as the third line center for sure. Will Cooley, I think I'm saying that right. I don't know if it's Cooley or however you would like to say it. It's not spelled like Logan Cooley. But I do think that he's one of the prospects. I don't even know if he's classified as a prospect because he played games last year, but I thought he was someone who was really exciting when he came up and played, so hopefully he will earn himself a legitimate maybe third line role and maybe pushes up into the top 6, but you're fighting with Kreider on that left wing side. Fourth line, Rempe and Vesey. We know what Vesey can do. I thought he was all right last year, fits in well with New York. Rempe, he can fight. I don't know how many games he's going to play because I feel like they're going to play someone else over him. He's going to be one of those guys. He's going to play a few games, sit out, play a few games, sit out. I don't expect him to play a full 82-game season. I would be shocked. I could be wrong, but then again, we shall see. And then I do like Brennan Othmann and Adam Edstrom being listed too. Othmann, I think, could very well make this team over Vesey. I don't know if Vesey's really going to like that, but he could very well make this team. And then Edstrom. Edstrom, I think, has been he played some games last year for the Rangers, too. He actually looked good in prospect games. I know it's prospect games, but he actually looked pretty good. He looks like someone who, if he works hard, he could make the team. Just saying. So, something exciting there to look at. Your defense, you got Ryan Lindgren, and Adam Fox. That's the Adam. Keandre Miller and Jacob Trouba as your second pairing. Zach Jones and Braden Schneider as your third pairing. And then you have Chad Ruedel as your seventh defender. That's a good blue line. It is. I like the first pairing. I think that Lindgren and Fox, we know what they can do. They're two really good. Fox can do both offense and defense, and Lindgren is great defensively. Miller, I like him a lot. Trouba gets his controversy. We'll see how he does this year. I think that this might be his last year with the Rangers with that contract expiring. There were even talks that they wanted to trade him to Detroit. Again, it's not really relevant bringing it up, but again, this most likely possibly could be his last year with the New York Rangers. And then that third pairing is a lot of younger players. I think that's a good third pairing, and then I like Ruedel as your seventh defender. So, yeah. Your goaltending, the most valuable part of this, I would say, is Shesterkin and Quick. I think that Shesterkin last year was the Shesterkin we know and love. And Quick had a good year, considering the fact that he is old. He's an old guy. So I do like how this team is built. I like what Chris Drury's done. He didn't really need to do a lot to, kind of make this team better. There's a few things I would improve on, like maybe some adds in the bottom 6, maybe some defensive depth. But above all, this is a really good team. And then I think Peter Laviolette is the coach. He worked out very well last year. I'm pretty sure that was his first season as well, because I think they fired Golan after the first-round exit. But above all, I really do like what they're doing. Going into the Hockey News' yearbook, they have them projected at second in the Metro. Their cup odds are 14-1, and their biggest X factor is if Lafreniere can score 35-plus goals and 70-plus points, that will be a game changer. The two other elements that could shift the dynamic, the fates of Trouba and Kako, whose departures would free up cap space and perhaps add personnel. So, again, this really could be a make or break year. I know it definitely is for Trouba. It probably may be for Kako as well, for them to really take a step this year, or else there's chances that they're going to be let go next year and they're going to be filling those cap spaces with a few other players. And again, Trouba does make a significant amount of money, so it really would benefit the Rangers in a way. But overall, I think this team is definitely going to be a team that goes into the playoffs. They're likely going to win the Metro again. I wouldn't rule out that the Devils get over them, but it's probably going to be the Rangers, is my prediction for first in that Metro. We'll see how they do in the playoffs. But anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe down below. I greatly appreciate it. We are going to keep these going. We got to get these all out before October 8th, I believe. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.